Good evening, everyone, and thank you for watching Veterans Voices. Tonight is June 19th, 2017, and all of us here want to welcome you back to another episode, a live monthly talk show focused on elevating the voices of military veterans and engaging with issues that they and their loved ones faced in coming home. Nathan Johnson could not be here tonight, so we thought we'd invite Kira Serna to fill in for him. Thank you very much for being here tonight, Kira. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me tonight. Well, I'm an Air Force veteran, and I'm a readjustment counselor at the Contra Vet Center. And I also serve as the Women Veterans Coordinator there, so I'm very happy to be here to discuss this topic with you. Tonight's episode is titled Trailblazers, Women Veterans Tell Their Stories. Tonight we wanted to honor the women who serve our country by giving them an opportunity to talk about the great work that they are doing since getting out of the military. Women in the military often face a unique set of challenges while serving and in their transition to civilian life. Some experience disbelief, outdated assumptions, or misguided questions about their service. We recognize that more than 200,000 women are serving our country in nearly every role and rank, including generals. They are fighter pilots, drill instructors, Army Rangers, and now serve in every combat unit in the armed forces. Tonight we wanted to invite a few remarkable veterans to our show who are blazing a unique path to success after military service.
As always, we're live tonight and would love to hear from you. Reach out to us by phone, email, anonymous chat, or send a message through social media for your questions, comments, or to share your own story. We are joined tonight by three guests: Stacy Doolin, the Outreach Coordinator for the Oakland Vet Center, Robin Whitley, the Valor Center Coordinator at JFK University, and Marion Moses, the Santa Clara County Veteran Service Officer. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am so privileged to be on a stage with you guys today because I know you all pretty well. I mean, some of us work together. Well, in fact, we all work together in the veteran industry, and it's it's really a pleasure to have you here tonight. Stacy, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your military career. What was behind that? How long you were in? What branch? That type of thing. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and I love what I do. I was in the Marine Corps. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I served from 1999 to 2004, so I'm like 25. And I was a Russian linguist. So right. I went to the DLI in Monterey. Great time, great experience. This was before 9/11, so the Presidio was wide open, and it was just a really lovely experience. Hands down, the best place I served at. Then my permanent duty station was Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Wonderful place. 2MEF, 2nd Radio Battalion. After, I was actually in the middle of my training just before getting to Lejeune when 9/11 happened. So I remember walking into work, which was a skiff at that time, and with my coffee and looking up at the news screen, and I saw a building on fire, and then we saw this other plane coming. And, you know, we were like, oh, are they doing like a replay? And, you know, but it's like, no, this other building's already on fire. And we just knew. We knew that things were going to change forever. So by the time I got to Lejeune, we were already slowly starting to change the way we operated and gear up for whatever they were going to send us to do. I got out in 2004, and I would never take back my military service for anything.
Fantastic. Marion, tell us a little bit about your military service and when you served and what branch and those kind of things.
Well, I think I'm the lonely Army veteran in the room. I served in the United States Army proudly on active duty from 1995 to 2007. So I did just over 12 years on active duty, and then another 3 years in the Army Reserves. So I have a total of 15 years of service. I was a human resources soldier, and then later NCO and senior NCO, and a platoon sergeant. and I was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas for about 2.5 years, and then got sent to Germany and got to go to many exciting places from there, because just when you think you get to Germany, the Army says, oh wait, there are other places we'd like you to go instead. So I got to see some other places, and it was a very good experience, a life-altering experience. And then finally in 2013, I decided that my civilian job deserved, both the Army Reserves and my civilian job deserved my full undivided attention, and so I'm just a civilian now.
Well, you're much more than that, and we'll get to that later on in the show a little bit. Robin, tell us a little bit about your military career.
So I am a veteran of the Marine Corps. I joined the Marines in July of 2009, and I was a field radio operator. I went to boot camp in Parris Island, South Carolina. I got stationed in 29 Palms a couple of times, so that was in the middle of the desert. Good training, and then I went to Camp Pendleton, which probably was my best duty station near San Diego. I had a unique experience as my last duty station. I was able to teach officers going through training how to use a radio in Quantico, Virginia. So I got out 2 years ago, and I wouldn't take back my enlistment either for anything.
Fantastic.
And now you recently got out, and so what types of challenges did you face when you were readjusting to civilian life?
So I was always focused on school, and I was really excited to start my program, and as soon as I got out, I focused on my legal studies program at John F. Kennedy University. And it almost kind of felt weird to have so much time on my hands because I wasn't working right away. So having a structure and having a schedule was what I was used to. So then when I started to get into working and going to school, I was just trying to figure out how I was supposed to work amongst my peers and work under a manager and things like that. So it was definitely a struggle and still something that I'm getting used to, but I think I'm getting there. So
That's good. Marion, talk a little bit about your career path as you got out. As you got out of, you talk about your civilian life. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I have a few different aspects. I'm also a military spouse at the moment. My husband will have 30 years of military service next year, and thank God he'll retire. And I have 2 sons who are veterans. One is still in the reserves, one is going to school on his GI Bill benefits right now. But I was really fortunate because when I was at that crossroads, you know how you reach that point in your life where it's like, okay, do I take that just one more enlistment? I mean, after 12 years, people look at me and say, why didn't you just go to 20? But I was very fortunate. I had fantastic mentors and someone who said, you know, and this was a life-changing moment. They said, hey, we're starting up this program. This was in 2007. It's called Warrior Transition Units, because we have so many soldiers who come back from Iraq, Afghanistan, from war, and they're injured to a point of not being able to reintegrate into the service, and we feel we're dropping these soldiers. And so I was actually very privileged in getting to help stand up the personnel services program for the Warrior Transition Units in Germany. And that was how I found my passion for what I do now, because everybody has to have that passion, right? So that's how I got to find out, hey, this is really what I want to do when you get a young soldier who's, you know, a fresh amputee, who hasn't learned to deal with that yet, to show them that there are other avenues out there that one can take and still be successful and have a fulfilling life.
That's amazing.
That's a great program. I have friends that work in that to this day, who work with the challenges, the challenges that go with those physical issues and help them transition out. And it's but then you went on to work in San Luis Obispo.
No.
I'm sorry.
Then I did that for a couple of years, and somebody said, hey, we'd like you to come to California, which I'd never been to. And my son, who was a senior, said, hey, California is all Baywatch. I want to go there, Mom. So we did. We went, and we got off the plane in San Luis Obispo, and guess what? It was foggy, and you couldn't see anything.
Right.
So yes, I came to California that way, and then cliche happened, fell in love, got married, had a baby, stayed home for 2.5 years. And then someone approached me and said, hey, I remember you used to work out at Hunter Liggett. We got this job here in San Luis Obispo, and you might be interested. And it was the job of a veteran services officer, which I'd never heard of. But as soon as I read the job description, I said, that's my job. No other job in the world. And sure enough, I got the position. And then about a year later, I was offered the position to take over the County of Santa Clara's Veteran Services. And that's what I get to do now. So it's been very much one career path, focused on our veterans, our soldiers, wounded warriors. And so I'm very privileged because I get to change lives. And I take that very seriously.
Well, it's very interesting that all three of you, and this was not by design necessarily, but all three of you have chosen to serve your fellow veterans. You've seen you've been successful in what you've done with your own lives and said, hey, I can help. And I think that that's extraordinary, and that's part of what our topic is tonight when we talk about Trailblazers. And you guys really are, because you work for other veterans, and you work to serve. Stacy, we run into each other at events all the time. Outreach events where we make ourselves available. You make yourself available through the Vet Center to provide opportunities that a lot of veterans don't even know that they have. So tell us a little bit about what happens with you and your position at the Vet Center.
Oh man, so I lived the exact opposite life, where you had like one career track. I've lived so many lives since I got out of the military. And it's a circuitous route, but I believe that all the things that I have experienced help me do this job now. It can be heavy. Veterans are a very special demographic of the population. There aren't many of us. And as we get older, there are even fewer that we know. And so there are things that we pick up. The military subculture is very dominant when you compare it to the individualistic civilian culture. We're very organism. It's, we are all part of a collective, like the Borg or whatever, but we're a collective, and we work together. We have a mission, and when all the pieces are working as they should, it's a very efficient machine.
So Stacey, how would you say that your military service prepared you for that role?
Oh man. So, well, just being a veteran helps. It's an instant relatability.
That instant connection.
Instantly. And, there can be some trust issues sometimes, especially when you're dealing with people who are used to that kind of connection. So it helps me right away. Working in the music business helped me a lot with public speaking. It helped me to, to just be able to jump right in and talk to people. And so I use that all the time. I will see Kevin at outreach events. We were just at the Valor Games together. Yeah, and you just have to be able to meet people where they're at. You have to be able to go and say, hey, how you doing? To read. And that's something that definitely picked up elements of that in the military. Also, not looking at a clock, because we all know 8-hour work days is, a suggestion. So that helps as well. Not, being like, okay, I can't really help you anymore. It's 4 o'clock. I just can't. So that helps too.
Guys, we have a caller on the line. Joelle from San Jose. Are you there?
Yes.
Hi. How can we help you? What would you like to share with us tonight?
Yes.
Joelle? Hello?
What was the hardest thing you had to do in the service?
Yes?
What was the hardest thing you had to do in the service?
Oh, that was a question. I'm sorry. So, Robin, what was the hardest thing you had to do in the service?
Probably all the running. A lot of running.
Physical
Yes.
activities?
Yes.
Were the most challenging? You guys all agree? You said push-ups when first.
It was challenging. For me, it was controlling my temper.
Controlling your temper.
Somebody's yelling at you in your face. You're
Joelle,
like,
do you have other questions for us?
No.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much for the phone call. Appreciate it. Thank you for calling Veterans Voices. Obviously, there's a little sound delay. At this time, you're up.
Okay. Coming up next, we will connect with Coast Guard veteran and entrepreneur Kathleen Rowland, who started a cricket farm in Montana. We'll return after this moving public service announcement by Grace After Fire, an organization focused on empowering women after military service.
Two weeks after I graduated from high school, I was in basic training.
I grew up in rural Alabama. I wanted to get out of Dodge about as quick as I could. Our mission was to cover the whole Sunni Triangle.
It was a little town next to Iran. There were some soldiers that needed some supplies.
Taji and Fallujah and in the Green Zone, they were just getting hammered all the time.
I hear shots, and I had my M16 out the window as I'm driving. I don't want to just shoot because it's people everywhere, you know?
You know, I was the senior person there. I couldn't like break down in front of my soldiers. They could not ever see me cry because I was the only woman.
You know, don't hit potholes, don't hit cans, don't hit, you know, don't run over certain things because it might cause an explosion. You hit a pothole and your heart just stops because you're like, oh God, is this it?
It was just really sort of in your face every day that every day someone was killed. Someone or more died.
You see dead people, you see squished bodies in the streets. That was just how it was, you know?
I would just go in the porta potty and just like cry because it was like, we're back. And we're all safe, and I get to see my kids.
When we came back from Iraq, I didn't know how to be a mother. I didn't know how to tap into that sensitive side. What is a sensitive side? Because now I'm trying to actually find out how to break down certain walls in order to become a real mother and a real loving woman.
I made the decision that I wanted the kids to be home. I just could not be alone. Unfortunately, my behavior didn't change. I needed to do something to alter my state of mind because I was so angry and I didn't have a clue why. I couldn't get anything done, so I felt like a failure.
As a woman, you automatically have this soft, tender woman side, but when you get to the military, it's like a hard, now you're a soldier. We're warriors, just like me. If not better, because we have to work twice as hard to prove ourselves.
You know, grace after fire. It's just so it's meaningful to me that after not being very graceful, after being not such a good mom, after not being the stellar soldier for a while, to really be a part of something special, to be a part of something that I didn't get when I got back, so that another woman doesn't have to go through the same thing I had to go through. It's talking to veterans, taking those stories, and provide them with the special care and needs that women veterans have that are different from our male counterparts. We made it, and we're here to help you make it. And I really feel like that's the heart of what Grace After Fire is.
Grace After Fire, to me, it's a second chance.
Welcome back to Veterans Voices. Tonight we are talking to women military veterans who are sharing their stories with us. If you have a question or comment, give us a call, email, or anonymous chat, and we'll add you to our discussion. I think tonight we're going to have the privilege of meeting with Kathleen Rowland from Montana. We had some technical difficulties. Do we have Kathleen there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Kathleen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
We're so happy to be able to speak to you, and I want to tell you firsthand that I love your cookies.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me on the show.
And Mike Ergo gave me one, and I had no idea there was crickets in them, and it didn't bother me one little bit. So they're very tasty. So tell us a little bit about what you do, your military service, and then what you've transitioned into.
So do you want me to start with the military service first? Or,
sure. Give us a quick, short bio on when and where you served and what branch.
Yeah, so I joined the military a month after I graduated from high school. I went to boot camp, and I served 6 years. So I served from 2005 to 2011 in the United States Coast Guard, and I was a gunner's mate.
Fantastic. And then what did you do?
After that, so I got out after my daughter was born when she was about a year old. It was just really difficult to go back to work. And then so I got out, and we bought a family fun center in Michigan, and it was during the recession, and it just didn't work very well. So we moved back to California. Then we moved to Montana, and that's where we are today.
But you're doing something special there. You're making me draw this out of you, Kathleen. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so I'm a cricket farmer. I came up with the idea last year at the university that I attend, Montana State University, and it was during one of my classes, a food fundamentals class, where I learned about alternative protein, sources of protein, and one, of course, was insects, and I thought it was a fascinating idea, and I went to a bug buffet and tried some bugs, and I was particularly drawn to crickets, because they're often referred to as the gateway bug, especially since you can roast them and grind them into a powder and use them just about anything.
A bug buffet. That is what you said, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
So Montana State University has been having a yearly bug buffet for the last 29 years. And it was a small, kind of a couple plates. Now it's a big, huge event, and we're hoping to help them grow it even more.
Any questions from our guests here in the studio for Kathleen?
Kathleen, I got a question. Where's my cookie? I want a cookie. I want to eat crickets.
Then I would love to send you guys, after this interview, if you could give me your information, I can send you a 50 box of cookies to try.
That would be fantastic. So you know Mike Ergo, who's one of the adjustment counselors at the Concord Vet Center. You have a relationship with him, I understand. Is that correct?
Yeah, so he actually found us online. He found out about our crickets and how they're used as protein. And he's really athletic, I'm sure you know. And he was just really drawn into the idea. So he contacted us, and we're like, yeah, we would love to work with another veteran. And so, yeah, we built this relationship, and I think it's great.
So, Kathleen, I have to tell you, I work with Mike Ergo, and I've tasted the cookie, the chocolate chip cookie. It's delicious, and I shared it with my kids. They loved it. They ate it right up. And I have to tell you, my daughter said she was thrilled because she said, I'm eating my lizard's food. But they were just, they were thrilled. They loved it. They thought it was delicious.
Yeah, kids are usually our easiest market. They see a cookie and they go for it. You tell them there's crickets in it, they're like, oh, that's cool. Can I have another?
So Kathleen, tell us a little bit about, tell me again when you got out, 2011, is that correct?
Yes, 2011.
What kind of challenges did you have in transitioning that kind of led you down this path?
Well, I made, a bad business decision. It was hard to find the right people to help guide me in the world outside of the military. And so, yeah, I lost the business. We filed for bankruptcy. We lost 2 houses. And it was just learning how to survive outside of the military. It's definitely very different. You don't have that source of income that's guaranteed on the outside.
So that must have been very tough to go through all of that. How did you pick yourself back up and keep going?
Oh, it was definitely difficult, especially when we filed for bankruptcy. We had 2 little kids, and I was pregnant with the 3rd, so it was terrifying, not knowing, where the next meal is coming from. But we knew we had to do something different, so we filed for bankruptcy, and that was probably the best thing ever. And then we left California to try Montana, and it's been great. We've been here almost 3 years now, and it's only getting better all the time.
Well, I want to say that, again, I tell you, I have one of those cookies. I shouldn't tell the guests this, but I actually have one of your cookies left. I made Mike give me the last one that he had the night that he was here on the show. That was last month when we had those. And we would love to get your contact information. I don't know if we have any information we can put on the screen for our visitors, but it would be awesome if we could help promote the healthy living alternate lifestyle that you promote. And and we wish you all the best. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about your business?
There is. So a couple days ago, we just found out. So my husband wrote a grant, a research grant proposal with 2 professors that have, doctor's degree, and it was quite a process for him to write this 50-some-odd page grant proposal for crickets to develop what we're calling the super cricket to increase the omega-3 in a cricket. And so we just found out a couple of days ago that we got a state research grant for that. So we're really excited to be moving on and doing some research with crickets and how to make them better for people.
Wow, that is exciting. Can you tell us what the most exciting or fun thing about keeping crickets is?
About keeping them?
Yeah, being a cricket farmer.
Okay, yeah, so it's just watching them. They're very interesting creatures, especially when they reach adulthood. It's just weird watching them. They'll like dig in the dirt where we put a pan of dirt in there so they can lay their eggs, and it's just interesting watching them interact. And I don't want to say personalities because that makes me feel bad then for eating them, but
yes. Don't give them names.
So what?
Too many. We have just over 1 million. So
what's the lifespan? I mean, what's the cycle? How does that cycle work? Okay, they go from eggs to adult. How long is that cycle?
So they reach adulthood in about 8 weeks. When they're eggs, they take about 9 to 14 days to hatch. We had a hatch as little as 6 days, which was really fast. It all has to do with the environmental conditions that we keep inside. The farm, we keep it at 85 degrees, and it's about 40% humidity. So at first it was tough to work in, but you get used to it.
Is the noise overbearing? I mean, I'm thinking about the crickets I hear. Usually when I talk, I hear crickets. Nobody's ever listening. But no, when I'm out when I'm out camping or when I'm out in nature, you hear a lot of cricket noises. Is it noisy?
Oh, it's very noisy. Yes, just from the sheer number we have, and I mean, when they're all chirping at once. Well, we have different ages at all times, but yeah, it gets noisy.
Very good. Any other questions?
I have a question. Does it help you sleep? Because I got this sleep machine, and one of the settings is meadow, and it has little like chirp, chirp. It's fantastic.
Is it working for you?
Yeah, it's working for me.
Do your crickets help you sleep, Kathleen?
Do they help you sleep? Or is it like cricket
I
overload?
don't sleep at the farm right now. So, I imagine it probably wouldn't, though, just because it's a constant chirping sound, so that you don't have that, like, that nice chirp and then a gap in chirp. It's just constant.
Well, Kathleen, we want to thank you very much for being our guest on the show and sharing how it was for you to transition, the challenges that you've overcome, and we wish you all the best and success in your cricket business. And I guarantee you, I'm going to be sending you a note, and I'm going to go online. Can we go online and see what your product line is? Is that how we could do this?
Absolutely, yeah. CowboyCrickets.com.
Say again, CowboyCrickets.com.
Yep.
Okay, we will do it. Thank you again for being a guest, and we appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, Kathleen.
Veterans Voices is live tonight, and we're talking with military women veterans. We're also hoping that you can call in to ask a question or share something about yourself related to the topic. We will be back after this short video about the Women's Memorial.
We got off at the metro site, and oh my God, I looked to my left down toward the memorial, and it was just a sea of people. And you couldn't find an empty place all the way down to the Lincoln Memorial.
When I served in the Navy, women were not even allowed to vote.
There were tens upon tens of thousands of people there, all helping to give recognition to the immensity of what this memorial was and will be.
We are here today at Arlington Cemetery before this beautiful memorial on sacred ground to honor and pay tribute to the generations of American women who have served and are serving in our nation's armed forces.
It was so powerful, and there was nothing else to do but cry.
Thank you. America knows what you do and what you have done. Maybe it hasn't always been recognized in the past, but today we proclaim loudly and clearly, we recognize it, we're grateful for it, we say God bless you, and we will always thank you for helping to make our country what it is.
Well, I was sitting on the dais, and one of the things I had planned was for the military to bring the flags of the states and territories down that aisle. I have talked to some of the people who were carrying those flags, and they said it was one of the most unforgettable moments of their life because people were reaching out and touching those flags. It meant so much to them.
I am Captain Linda Bray. I stand for the women who served in Grenada, Panama, and the Gulf War.
It was overwhelming. It was a feeling of pride. It was a feeling of camaraderie to see so many women in one place. And to have them still wearing their hats or maybe their ribbons on their suit.
Because one of the things I had encouraged them to do was if you can't wear your uniform, wear whatever part of it fits. So some of them had on their hat, and that's all they had, but they came.
Shortly, the doors of your memorial will be open. Let's go down and cut the ribbon.
There are so many memories of the dedication. And one of them is a quotation from an Army nurse that served in World War II. And to me, it epitomizes what this memorial is about. When she wrote, "Let the generations know that women in uniform also guaranteed our freedom, that our resolve was just as great as the brave men who stood among us. And with victory, our tears fell just as hard. And that's the mission of the memorial, to let the generations know that women in uniform also guaranteed their freedom.
Thanks for staying with us. That was a video about the women in military service for America Memorial, located at the gateway to Arlington National Cemetery. It is the only major national memorial honoring all women who have defended America throughout history. Tonight we're talking about the success stories of women who served in the military, and we'd love for you to join the discussion by calling or writing in, even if it's anonymously. And in fact, I think we may have some calls now, do we? Or should we just go on with our discussion? It would seem like a good transition, but let's
take a call.
Shall we take a call?
Bring it in. Bring in the call.
We ready?
They're trying to reconnect.
If not, we don't want to just...
We're going to go ahead. Here's a question.
This is from Kara. She says, I was active overseas for 4 years in the Air Force and in the Guard for another 4. I felt like everyone I was serving with was my close friend. I'm a housewife with not many close friends that are not in the military, and we are sometimes seas apart. I don't really get out much without my kids. I just don't feel the connection with most women that used to come so easily. Is this normal to feel so isolated? Is it just something many vets experience after separation? Or are these feelings of not having much in common with people? And
Great questions.
Do you guys have any advice for someone who's going through something like this?
I'd like to possibly answer that. So I would say that you're not alone in feeling that way. I definitely felt sort of similar when I was getting out of the military, and for my next transition to pursue law school in the fall, Santa Clara has a very small, if not non-existent veteran community, so it's going to be hard for me, I think, to not have that group of veterans around me, and so I definitely can understand where you're coming from.
Ladies, anything else you guys want to add to that? Did you feel that way yourself, Stacy, when you were getting out? Did you feel the kind of isolation or lack of support around you like you had in the military from other women?
Kara, I'm going to go ahead and say you are not alone. There are varying degrees of readjustment, adaptability. The military's rough, and you really get close to those people. You work with them. If you live in the barracks, you're literally walking across the parking lot to the barracks after work with these people. You have to build a connection with these people for mission accomplishment, and you may have to depend on these people for your life. So you really build camaraderie and a close connection. When I first got out, I mean, there's things about the military culture that just don't translate when you get out. You know what I'm saying? Like drinking on a Monday, or right? Or just our language is even different. We use a different dialect in the military. We have words that mean different things, and in the Marines it was a 95% male environment. So you had to learn how to have a very tough skin and how to develop this. Even if you didn't have it, you better learn how to develop a sense of humor that's going to, carry you through that.
So, Kara, we want to thank you very much for sending that in. And I think what we got from this is, no, you're not alone. And those are probably very normal feelings. And we would ask, we want to make sure, though, that you go to some of our resources if you ever feel like you really need to connect with somebody, because you can do that through several different venues. And we would encourage you to do that and not feel alone, because it's important that you have support. We have a caller on the phone right now, and this is a call that's coming in specifically for Robin, I believe, and that's from Mark Burda. Mark, are you on the phone?
Yes.
Mark, welcome to Veterans Voices. What can we do for you?
Well, I have a comment and I have a question for Robin.
Okay.
Hello, Mark.
Hi, Robin. So the comment would be, I and your mom are very proud of you. We totally appreciate the commitment you have done to serve the country. And my question is, what would you advise for young women which are looking to get into the military at this point? And what would you advise them after they get out?
Those are very good questions. Thank you so much for calling in, Mark. And again, happy Father's Day. So, wow, you know, first thing, going into the military, don't join the Marine Corps. If you have a good reason, maybe I'll listen to it. But you know, there's something that everyone wants to get out of the military. For me, it was stability of having a paycheck and having a meal card and a barracks room, and of course, my educational benefits. So for somebody who hasn't quite found their direction in life, there's so many great options in the military. There's so much more than you could think. So I would talk to a veteran or a recruiter just to know your options. And so when you're going in, just have a great experience. And when you're ready to get out, I say do it for 4 years and get out, get your benefits, and then really figure out what you want to do and just go for it. So thank you.
Well, thank you for calling, Mark. Appreciate that. And I could tell you also that I've from the opportunity I've had to work with Robin, I agree with you. She's done a wonderful job, and she does some wonderful things for wonderful people in her career path she has now. So I know she's going to do a wonderful job as an attorney. Do you know what kind of attorney you want to be?
Yes, so my goal has always been to be a district attorney. So actually in this building I did my internship with the DA's office. So I'm going to Santa Clara Law School, so maybe I'll be seeing you. And I'll hopefully be able to become a prosecutor. So, but it may change, but criminal law is what I'm interested in. So.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very good. So do we have Antoine? We have another phone caller. Is Antoine on the line? Not ready. Okay. So here we are. Who has some more to contribute about well, now we have a phone call.
That was fast. So fast.
I'm not sure if we're quite ready yet. Oh, okay.
That was even faster.
What other challenges have you guys come up against, or have you ever considered going back in? Have you ever thought about, oh wow, look at the looks on the faces. Definitely not, huh?
I did. I wanted to go back in.
Yeah.
And I actually made the effort and ran my PFT again, and I did it at 29 Palms. Oh my God, after years of not, what? But that's another matter. I got ready and everything, it was not happening.
Oh, whoops. Antoine, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Antoine, how are you this evening?
I'm doing pretty good, yeah.
Good. Do you have something you'd like to ask our guests here at Veterans Voices? Or do you have a comment?
No, I just want to thank them for their service.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, I spent 10 years in the military. In the
Okay.
Army.
Well, thank you
for
for
your service.
See, look, you're not alone. Army.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What challenges did you come up against in transitioning, Antoine? Are you still there?
I'm here, a bunch of challenges.
Okay. Have you gotten help for any of those? Have you been able to find the support that you needed?
Yes, I live in Martinez.
So you've probably been to the County Veteran Service Office right here in this building then, is that correct? We must be on a delay. I think we lost Antoine, but Antoine, thank you very much for your service. If you're still listening, if you haven't been to our County Veteran Service Office, it's located right here at 10 Douglas Drive, directly beneath our feet. And we would invite you to come and talk to some of the veteran service reps that are here and make sure that you're getting everything that you've earned, because it's not a net sum game. It's you've earned it, and if If you haven't gotten the benefits that are coming to you, we want to make sure you do that, and that goes for our entire audience. Every county has a county veteran service office, but they don't care who they see. If you can't get into one place, go to another, and they'll have open doors. So we'd encourage you to follow up on that.
Absolutely. Tonight we are talking to women who serve their country with pride. We will be right back after a short video about the Foundation for Women Warriors, a nonprofit organization designed to connect women with critical resources they may need after military service, including housing, employment, professional development, transition assistance, advanced education, and legal assistance, among others.
At the wee age of 19, I found myself in Kuwait preparing to invade Iraq. I didn't realize that when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was going to be alone. I didn't have a community, and that my skills were going to be lost in translation when applying for jobs. Many women throughout America that get out of the service face the same issues. Our women veterans have proven their success in the military, and they just need an opportunity to prove their success on the outside. That's where we step in. My name is Jody Grenier, and I'm the Executive Director of Foundation for Women Warriors. Our mission is to serve women veterans and their children so their next mission is clear and continues to impact the world. The 4 biggest needs of women veterans today are housing, employment, education, and childcare. Foundation for Women Warriors is that unique organization that meets these needs and provides a community of mentorship and support for women veterans.
Foundation for Women Warriors influences your character in a really positive way. The women are all really close. They like eat lunch together. You know, it's just a really cohesive effort to help people. And they just were really friendly, like calling each other in the evening. You know, just a really tight group of women.
I didn't even realize some of the help I was getting at first. Jody would take me to things like going to dinner with other female veterans, and I just felt like we were building friendships and bonding, and I didn't recognize that you were giving me so much mentorship along with it. And then when it came to childcare, I got into a situation where I wasn't getting enough help paying for childcare. Being a single parent, it's really tough to put yourself through school and provide for your family at the same time. And I was able to do all that just with the organization. If it wasn't for the foundation, I would not be graduating in May because I would have to choose between things like paying for school, textbooks, parking passes, or providing an education for my child. I'd like to tell other women that you didn't get this far just to only come this far. And I never thought that I would get this far. I didn't see myself going to college. So you didn't get this far to only come this far. You have so much more ahead of you.
Growing up in the ghetto, dealing with the drugs and the gang detail and all of those sorts of things were definitely a direct impact on why I left San Diego and joined the Air Force. I love the Air Force. I still to this day feel like that was the best decision that I made. Last year in June, I was laid off of my job unexpectedly, which kind of flipped my world temporarily upside down because I wasn't stable. And so I met my veterans rep. She provided me with a list of numbers, and Foundation for Women Warriors came up on that list, and I reached out trying to get some assistance, and you guys were the first ones to give me a call back. I feel like they very much empowered my future and made me feel like this is not permanent, that this is just a temporary, place that I'm in, and that there are people out there that do care. And it also made me not feel ashamed either, that, that I had this temporary situation in my life that came at in inappropriate time for me. So I feel like that's showing love.
Your donations are paramount to our success. And with your help, we can make these women veterans even more successful today.
My time in the military is not going to be my greatest accomplishment. I'm gonna further that. That was just the beginning. I never thought it would be possible to be able to balance school, work, and having a family, but you've made it possible, and I thank you greatly.
Because of your sacrifice and your compassion for giving those donations to keep this organization funded, I am currently sitting in the luxury of my home right now, and my kids will also have a place to come home to when they get out of school. So I appreciate you and sincerest thanks.
It's been noted that if you pay attention to women in communities, that a whole family succeeds. If you pay attention to our women veterans, we succeed as a nation. These women have served their country, have sacrificed, and made commitments that enabled our freedoms that we have today. Your attention to this underserved and often forgotten and overshadowed community is paramount in their success. Join me today in improving, empowering, and honoring the service and the success of our women veterans. And thank you for your attention.
Welcome back to Veterans Voices. Tonight we have been speaking with a few military veterans who have blazed a unique path home after military service. I think we have one more phone caller on the line. Is that correct? Is there a McKenna on the line?
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, McKenna. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Good. Did you have a question or comment for our panel or something you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I do. I would just like to say that women like you guys are my biggest role models. And Robin, this is your cousin, yes. I love you. I'm so proud of you. And my question is, what kind of advice would you give to women like me who are aspiring to go into a male-dominated field?
Oh man, so since I know you very well, I don't know if you need any advice or luck or anything, because she is just so smart, and she's already at the top of her class. And so for male dominated, I mean, I think since you have a close relationship with your brother, you already kind of know how it's going to be, and you just got to be tough and not take it personal and be able to joke around. And I think your actions will speak a lot louder than words, so you'll be fine.
Well, McKenna, thank you very much for that phone call.
Love you.
And thank you for calling in. We have
Melissa from Facebook would like to know, will you all be at the Women Veterans event this Saturday?
Yes, I'll be there.
And we will give you a little more information about that event later on in just a couple seconds here.
Yes, we will.
So, are you a veteran with a story to tell or a talent to share? If so, we'd love to hear from you and possibly have you on our show. Reach out and tell us about yourself. Another way to contribute is through our Veteran Advisory Panel. Sign up on our homepage and you'll be sent a short survey after every show. It's very important for us to get input from you, the veterans in the community. Connecting with you helps us collect valuable feedback so we can better assist the veteran population. There are many resources for women veterans and their families. The following resources are also listed on our homepage. Grace After Fire is an organization focused on helping women veterans cultivate self-empowerment, transition back into family life after service, and succeed at work. You can contact them through their website at graceafterfire.org. Foundation for Women Warriors is a group focused on preventing homelessness, empowering women veterans, and helping people regain their independence and dignity. They can be reached at foundationforwomenwarriors.org. And the Concord Vet Center provides free individual and group counseling services. They can be reached at 925-680-4526.
In the coming weeks, there are many veterans events you can take part in. Visit our website calendar for a full list and contact us if you have an event to add to our calendar. The Northern California VA and Concord Vet Center have partnered with the Concord United Methodist Church, and on June 24th, between 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., they will host the 2017 Military Women's Appreciation Day. The address is 1645 West Street, Concord. They will have a resource fair, which includes massage services, healing touch, self-care education, entertainment, and lunch.
And those resources are all available on our homepage. Please go and visit them for more information. Tonight we have the honor of displaying the shadow box of former U.S. Army Sergeant Matthew Wayner, who served from 1968 to 1970. If you'd like your memorabilia featured on our show, call or write into us and we'll use it on our set. Please tune in next month for our discussion on how caffeine can affect veterans. We hope to create a healthy, productive dialogue and incorporate our audience thoughts and concerns regarding this topic and others. Our goal is to moderate an objective and open discussion to give a platform for your voice. To rewatch tonight's episode, check back on our homepage later this week or check your cable provider schedule for rebroadcast times. This is Veteran Voices of Contra Costa County wishing you all a good evening and thank you for serving.